New reports coming out. Could Shador slide further than top 5? Is a running back actually going to get drafted in round 1? What are we going to see as the NFL Combine ends? We still have a lot of questions that need to be answered. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, inside the huddle. I'm your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Want to thank you guys all for joining us on this beautiful Monday evening. Tuesday evening. Got a great show for you. Theo is going to join us, talk some NFL draft. Got a lot of stuff to break down tonight as the NFL draft now about a month and a half away from the NFL draft starting in none other than beautiful Green Bay, Wisconsin. Got a great one joining. Guys, if you are a first-time listener, want to thank you all for joining in. Want to thank our good friends over at vocalbreaks.com. They are the #1 best AI-driven produced exclusively for music producers. Whether you're a content creator, you can implement whatever you put into Vocal Breaks, and you can generate arguably some of the best in none other than your music career. We'll get into them for a little bit. The battle for legal liability is now over. Florida State and Clemson will settle the deal. We'll talk about what that means for the future of the NFL draft, or the future of the ACC, and what this could potentially mean in the near future for the ACC, and what it means for the future of Clemson and Florida State. So everybody do us a favor. No matter where you are, no matter where you're at, I want you guys to do me a favor. Like, give a heart, or share this live stream to all of those groups out there, and make sure that you are letting them Lucas Hill is live right now. Make sure that you guys give us a shout out. We do appreciate all the support that we have been getting. YouTube page, we've been starting to kind of build some momentum. We just hit 60 subscribers on there. We do appreciate all of you for hopping on there. I know some of you are kind of busy because there's a joint session over with President Trump, but not the case today. For those of you that are watching us, we appreciate all of what you have been doing. And so, with that being said, guys, we still have a lot to talk about. And look, let's just go ahead and kind of get this thing started, Let's go for it. All right. Let's start off none other with all that we have seen from none other than college football. So, today, all right, here we go. This is huge. Let me just tell you. The ACC, at Florida State, Clemson, and the ACC, 3 things had to happen, all right? First of all, the board of directors had to approve on a terms of settlement. They managed to get that. Number 2, the board of trustees on both Florida State and Clemson's side agreed to a settlement. They were able to get all that. And then the 2 boards met virtually to discuss the settlement. And then here's where we're at right now. Clemson approved the settlement at the end of its meeting, as Florida State was still discussing. We'll go ahead and pull up the On3 article right now. Meaning, when FSU's board asked for an opposition, no board member spoke, meaning it was unanimously approved. How about Drew Rutherford? When was the last time you heard about him? I'm proud of where we've landed. We've made some commitments 14 months ago that we would do everything in our power to ensure that we would compete at the highest level. I think we've done that here. We also made it clear that we were willing to seek a new home if something didn't drastically change. But the good news is that things have drastically changed since we had that conversation. So if you remember, last year, there was talks of Clemson and Florida State leaving the ACC, and it was discussed a lot. It was a huge topic of discussion for a lot of teams around the league for a good bit of the summer last year. And it was looking very likely. And it was all because Florida State got snubbed of the college football playoff last year. Then you go into this year in 2024, or last year in 2024, Florida State lays a goose egg. They go 2-10. Clemson manages to get in the college football playoff. I guarantee you this. If the ACC didn't get 2 in the CFP, if they would have just had 1, this would not be a whole ordeal. Clemson and Florida State probably would have exited the ACC. Where would they have gone, though? I don't know. I can't really tell you because I don't know if the Big 12 would have wanted them. I don't know how much of a eye-opener they would have gotten lately. But again, we're talking about something that really just was a big ordeal at the time, and rightfully so. I mean, this was huge, knowing where college football was going to be, because we already saw what realignment did last year. Now you're talking about 26. We're going to get more realignment. And now we're possibly considering Florida State and Clemson two blue bloods that are going to be moving. That was going to be huge. Now we don't have to worry about that anymore because of the ruling being a factor of it. And so I will say this. There's a lot that still needs to be settled. Will I think will there still be negotiations? Absolutely. I think in regards to revenue sharing, I think with NIL being a main factor in this, being why they want to leave, I can see why this is a big ordeal. But at the same time, guys, you got to understand, this was something that was eventually going to affect both programs. All right. So let's continue to read on. So I just want Seminole Nation to know that the future is bright. I am extremely encouraged and I'm confident that we will remain one of the top athletic brands in the country for decades to come. And I wasn't that confident 14 months ago. This is what we talked about earlier. So I just commend the entire board, this organization, for getting to where we are today. Net and net, I think it's a really great outcome for everyone involved. See how he says 14 months ago. They're still pressed about what happened in the college football playoff 14 months ago. Anyways, so the key number in the settlement talks between FSU and Clemson is the exit fee. A school could pay about $200 million to leave the ACC once the settlement went through. Now it falls to well below $100 million should a school wish to exit the league after the 29-30 school year. So leaving the school or leaving the conference is still not out of the question. For the fiscal year in 2026, it'll be $165 million, but it'll drop by 18 mil a year until it gets to 75 in 2030 and 31, and then will level off. Schools will also be able to keep their media rights after paying the exit fee. So it's not out of the question for anybody. It's still a thing that is probably going to end up happening. Do I see a scenario where maybe we'll have a school leave the ACC? Absolutely. Realignment is still going to go on from 2026 until the end of the decade. There's no doubt in my mind that is going to happen. But for now, I think keeping the Blue Bloods is what the ACC wanted to do in keeping Clemson and keeping Florida State. Otherwise, this conference would have been just what the Pac-12 is right now. Just another G5 conference in college football. So now we would have gotten P3 if we really even consider the Big 12 a P4 conference, because you only have Arizona State right now. Now, could Colorado make some noise? Could, I don't know, let's say TCU make some noise? I know they got a lot of returning pieces back. Could Iowa State still make some noise? Sure. Are they going to be as consistent contending for college football playoffs and like teams in the SEC and the Big Ten? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. Don't even convince me otherwise that it will be. Trust me, it's not. You don't have the NIL revenue and you don't have the legacy compared to the SEC and the Big Ten when it comes to championship pedigree and contending for championships. So, like I mentioned, and literally, like I just mentioned, and I just turned it, I swear to God, I didn't even think about this. Revenue sharing was a big factor in this one. It confirmed a new revenue distribution model based on a 5-year rolling average of TV ratings. A majority share of the base media rights will be placed into a viewership pool to be distributed via TV ratings-based model. The settlement terms said will take effect this coming year. Clemson's projected the opportunity for more than $120 million in new revenue over the next 6 years in its first board meeting, and includes the viewership pool as well as the enhanced ACC success initiatives. All right. So like I mentioned, with viewership being better over the course of the rest of this year, you will still be able to get much better in regards to all of this, as well as being able to share the revenue around the league or around the ACC. And you'll be able, basically what it comes down to is this, in simplest terms. You own TV, you own a P4 team, guess what? You're going to get a share of the total amount of money that comes with TV revenue, and it's going to be distributed evenly to all scholarship players. That's essentially what we're going to have in college football. And rightfully so. So, again, this is still a deal that's still in the making, but I think that there's still going to be a lot of things that are getting ready to change for the near future in college football, especially in the ACC. But a document released by Florida's Attorney General showed ESPN has an option in 2027. FSU contended an amendment signed by then Commissioner Jim Phillips that changed that date to February 25, January, that ESPN announced its plan to opt in and extend the deal to 2036. Clemson, meanwhile, was seeking to clarify if the university controls its broadcast rights if it leaves the conference. After both filed suits against the ACC, the conference would counter. That's a slippery slope, man. Oof. But I will say this. It's big time. That's all I'll say. All right. Let's continue on right now. The NFL draft, like I mentioned, is about, or actually, let's talk some UFL. When I look at where the NFL is, or the UFL is at the current moment, there is still a lot that needs to be talked about. So we went into our predictions for the UFL, anyway. So here's what we have seen for now. Pat McAfee had a lot to say about it. This is interesting. So this is what he has to say about the labor strike on Pat McAfee.
NFL convo, though, what you just chatted about with the kickers of the conversation, that's the issue. That's the real deal. These NFL teams all have 4 or 5 quarterbacks.
Yep.
And every young quarterback that's good is going, or potentially good, is going to the NFL. So they can't join the UFL. So it's like, what level of competition? You have OGs. Remember, like AJ McCarron? Went and played in there. And then there's some guys that have become like spring football legends, like the kid that was on St. Louis originally. Then
Heineke was there. His backup, Teamu, Jordan
Teamu. Like there's a couple guys that are like spring football legends at this point. But like to get super high quality football players at that position. The NFL has it all gobbled up for opportunity right now. It's tough. It's very, very tough to run a spring league, I think.
No wonder the final boss is so fucking pissed off.
I didn't even think about that.
He's losing $100 million. He's got all the quarterbacks on.
I don't know if it was 100. I forget.
It was a lot.
It was reported as lost everything.
He made a sizable investment into this and lost a lot of money. Now all his goddamn quarterbacks are on the picket line.
Yeah,
no wonder he's pissed off.
I don't know how it works out, but as soon as I read that the quarterbacks are striking, I'm like, read the room.
Yeah.
Guys are lucky to
Are they striking for everybody though? Are they striking? They want everybody's base pay to go up, or just the quarterback?
I think it's just quarterback.
Just QB.
No.
$5 million base for everybody. He might roll out Cena to throw the first pass this year. He might.
Okay, here's my whole take on that. Is that first of all, they don't know a whole lot about the UFL. Let's just be honest. Okay, Spring League MVP is obviously Luis Perez. All right. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I know you're wanting to say, oh, Jordan Tiamo is this. AJ McCarron was a dog. Let's just be straight up, bro. But, again, they don't know. That's the thing. They just don't know. All right? And, look, we'll just have to see, man. Do we know with what to expect? No, absolutely not. But again, I do know that there is a lot of hope for the UFL going into this year. I am excited. As you guys know, I'm going on tour. We'll be in Houston for Friday Night Lights. Where else than the absolute amazingness of high school football? Then why not go to our good friends over at Houston and have some fun there? I would do it. Why not? Go take a chance. Let's freaking do it. You know what I mean? And that's why I say we're going. And I'm really excited for what we're about to have in the near future. I'm telling you, I have a lot of love for the Houston area. And boy, am I excited for what we're bringing. All right. I'm going to go ahead, knock out a quick break. Theo Ash. Coming on, Theo Ash. Hopping on here in about 5 or so minutes. We'll get him on and get it started. You're listening Inside the Huddle. Stay with us. Are you a music producer, DJ, or just someone who loves to remix tracks? Well, say goodbye to messy, low-quality track separations and hello to vocalbreaks.com. The most powerful AI-driven music editing tool on the market. Unlike other separation tools, Vocal Breaks harnesses the most advanced AI model available, delivering crystal clear vocals, pristine instrumentals, and an unmatched precision, all online with no software required. You can extract vocals or instrumentals with studio-quality accuracy. It's perfect for remixes, mashups, karaoke, and music production, and for a faster, cleaner, and more reliable than any other service. So if you want the best, don't settle for less. Go on over to vocalbreaks.com and use code LucasHill10 now and experience the full future of AI-powered music editing. That's vocalbreaks.com using code LucasHill10. All right. Again, thank you guys over at Vocal Breaks for sponsoring our videos. We do appreciate every single one of you continuing to support our goals here. The latest mock drafts are interesting. And let me tell you some guys that are definitely going to rise, because we kind of talked a little bit about all that won at the combine, but whose stock ended up increasing. Well, let me tell you what. Now, I got a lot that I thought really showed out ever since Senior Bowl. Number one, I think a guy like Gray Zabel may have turned himself into a first-round talent. Gray Zabel is one of those hard-nosed offensive linemen that you rarely see nowadays. Nitty-gritty, hard-nosed, run-blocking-wise, he is a threat. I mean, Gray Zabel, to me, may be a top 5 interior or lineman in all of the NFL. And when you pull up the film of him, it's impressive to say the least. to see what he has to show for it. The guy is insane as an offensive guard. And guys, there's just so much that you could definitely see that he can continue to improve on, something that he can eventually grow to become arguably one of the best in young and upcoming offensive lines in all of college, in all of the NFL. One of the biggest weak points that Detroit had last year was interior play. You need another guy other than Penei Sewell on the offensive line. You have to get somebody like that. Otherwise, you're going to fall well behind the 8 ball. You got to be able to contend on a consistent basis with a guy like Gray Zapel. Gray is one of those guys that I have admired his game. I've admired what he has to offer at the interior position. He's a top 3 guy to me. I don't know if he's going to be the first one, knowing what Tyler Booker has. It's definitely hit or miss between the two. But I think a guy like Gray Zapel and what he's done ever since the Senior Bowl, it's been impressive. And guys, he's going to have a lot more to showcase at the next level. He's thoroughly showed out at Senior Bowl. I watched him during there. He was impressive. I watched him during the combine. Efficient numbers, efficient offensive guard. You get him out in the open space on a pull. If you pull him on a counter and you have him lead blocking, guys, that's scary. That's a lot of man to move around. Let me tell you, he is going to be a guy at the end of the day that is going to make a huge impact on the offensive side of the football every time he gets an opportunity to lead block out in front. He is going to pave a way for a guy like David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs. Doesn't matter who it is. He's going to have that opportunity at the end of the day. Another guy that I think really, really improved his draft stock. I mean, really showed out at the next level. I think Shamar Stewart. Now, everybody knows about Nick Scourton and what Nick Scourton is doing. But the big difference between Scourton and with Shamar Stewart is that you look at Scourton's numbers, they look a lot better than what a guy like Shamar Stewart is. I am still pretty firm that both of these guys are going to get picked within the top 10. I firmly believe that. And look, I know with what he's going to bring at the end of the day. Guys, both of these Texas A&M defensive linemen are going to be studs. All right, let's bring in none other than the man himself. Probably the biggest sports content creator on TikTok. Theo Ash. Theo, what's up, dude? How are you this evening? Do we have Theo?
Let's see.
All right, we'll give Theo a little bit to get organized. We'll let him. We good? All right,
yeah,
let's
we're
get
good.
it back.
We're good.
Theo
we're good.
Ash, what's up, dude?
Doing well. Enjoying my night. Not
Good.
too much going on.
There you go, man. There you go. Hey, were you at the combine this past week?
I was not at the combine. I've never been. I've always gone to the Super Bowl and then never the combine.
Dude. So what's funny is that we had a lot of some of my former classmates that got to be able to go to the Super Bowl as part of a little thing that we have with Southeastern.
Mm-hmm.
It's a college. So, and they were able to go. So I never got the invite, but I mean, hey, here I am doing whatever. But I think here's the thing though, Theo, the NFL world does not like me, but honestly, I honestly could care less. I'm the college football guy. I'm the NFL draft guy. I have a great relationship with the community, but Theo, it is good to have you on here, my brother. I hit you up sometime last week, and I looked at your evaluation of a guy like Jack Sawyer. I was kind of critical a little bit because I think you were talking about his butt or something.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite tweet that I've seen in a while. I mean, this is unbelievable. Jack Sawyer has no ass and his legs are as thin as the yard line. Wow.
Hey, it's a size concern.
I mean,
John Madden. I'm in my John Madden bag right here. He always used to look at what people were carrying, you know. Bill Belichick.
Oh my God, yeah.
Bill Belichick used to line up behind the 40-yard dash because he wasn't interested in the 40 time. He was interested in how they looked lining up, right? I think it's important. I think it's important when I look at Sawyer and I do see kind of this underdeveloped lower body, and it's just kind of a funny thing to talk about, some dude has no ass, everybody laugh. But I do think it's important to the evaluation is what kind of body types are these guys? Can they really hold up against these NFL linemen? And just from a physics perspective, I think like it's hard when you kind of got that thinness.
Yeah, I think that's the thing because I'm a former defensive lineman myself. The physique that you're typically supposed to have as a defensive lineman, you think of, my God, this dude's butt is unbelievable. I can't believe I didn't think I was going to talk about this on air live, but it's true. Leg development is a huge ordeal at the next level. If you are not 6'4", 6'5", and you got the freaking legs of a deer, you're going to put yourself in a bind. And I think the best example of it is probably a guy like James Pierce. And by the way, we'll get to measurements in a little bit because I got to tell you, the measurements that we got to see at the Combine related to what we saw at Senior Bowl and the East-West Bowl, it was just so inconsistent. And that's why I'm calling for we need to just get rid of doing measurements at the Combine because we can never get any real accurate statistical information when it comes to these measurements. NFL teams need to be doing their own measurements at this point in time. We need to just let the NFL just do their own measurements at this point instead of letting the Combine do their testing and their measurements.
How did Jalen Milroe's hands grow? They were sub 9 at the Senior Bowl, and then they measure at the Combine, and it's like 9.5 inches. It's like, how does that even work? Like, how
does your hand grow a whole inch?
They must have just measured it wrong, or he wasn't fully flexing.
It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. Theo, tell us a little bit about your sports content creation beginnings and just how you got into this.
I got into it via TikTok of all apps. I mean, I was on Twitter before and I was kind of posting into the void on there. But TikTok was interesting to me because of the algorithm and because there just wasn't a large volume of other sports creators on there at that time. It was just kind of a goofy app with dances or trends or challenges or whatever. But they were making their video segments longer and longer. And it's just like, I mean, as long as you can post videos, you can post good film content. And a lot of people my age were on there. And I thought that it would be a good way to kind of break into the industry. I mean, it was just a pretty easy niche to fill. No one was really talking sports on there like I was. So I made the account and just started firing off kind of hot takes, and just it kind of grew from there. Like I think any social media account would. It was just kind of on a new platform at the time.
Theo, my co-host, just texted me and said, "Tell Theo Ash he's my GOAT, one of the most exciting whites of sports media."
I appreciate it.
Oh, God, I love it. Oh, wow. But no, I've gone live a few times on TikTok, and in a span of 20 minutes, I've got hundreds of views on it. It's just so quick with how TikTok revolves and how quick you can build an audience off of it. And I think it's just so impressive with what you have seen so far just in the world of media and how TikTok has just evolved and how quickly your audience can grow from there. And I mean, I've had a lot of clips of mine that have been posted from here on TikTok get thousands and thousands of views. But again, we're just still continuing in the early process of growing. But I'm hoping at the end of the day, we'll get to a point where we can go to a freaking Super Bowl for free or just get some sort of recognition at the end of the day from a major company. But no, Theo, I wanted to get you on and talk a good bit about the NFL draft, and I wanted to get your opinions on some guys that really had their draft stock rise just over the weekend. And I talked a good bit about this Friday if you guys joined me. Talk to me about what you evaluated at the combine and what are some guys that you saw just over the weekend that really had their draft stock rise.
I thought one guy that did a good job to raise his stock was Darius Alexander from Toledo. He's a guy who has great film at Toledo, I think, especially against the run. He holds up at the point of attack super well, holds his own versus double teams, keeps his linebackers protected. He can penetrate into the backfield as well. Just great technician, right? But I kind of worried about his pass rush ability and maybe his first step and just overall athleticism, right? You don't have to be too great of an NFL prospect to really dominate the MAC or some of these lower levels of D1 football. So it's important for him to continue to check out boxes in the pre-draft process, the Senior Bowl being one of them. And I thought he had a good Senior Bowl. And then at the combine, he comes in and tests like an elite athlete. So he's doing what he needs to do to kind of prove to me that, like, hey, he's not just somebody who's, padding his stats versus softer competition. Like, he really can stand out amongst his peers when the playing field is equal in these situations in the pre-draft process. So that's
I'll say that. Right. And I listed Alexander as a guy that I thought was a guy that really rose his stock. It's one thing when you're 6'4", 305 pounds, and you're running a freaking 4.95 40, and you got a 31.5-inch vert. And many people will say, well, it's just that. How many 300-plus pound defensive linemen or just linemen in general do you see running under a 5 flat? It's hard to do that at that size and frame. And I think what was so impressive about him is just how he carried himself through the workout. And he's just, when I look at him on tape, he's a guy, like you mentioned, attacks double teams really, really well. I watched him during pass pro at the Senior Bowl. I thought he did really well. I think his footwork is definitely an area of improvement. His hands are constantly moving. And I think if you implement some more, if he gets I think if he cuts down at least another 5 pounds of body fat, his speed can increase. And I think he's got a lot more tools in the arsenal that he can really use at the next level to help him in his pass rush capability. I'll say this, Armand Membu, stand up, because you stood out among all linemen at that combine. Armand Membu, to me, I think it was a guy that a lot of people knew had first-round talent, but never really considered him as such because of how deep the offensive line group was in this year's draft. But you're talking about a guy, 6'4", 332 pounds, runs a 4.9 40, dominated during the regular season against top-tier defensive linemen in the SEC, and you put up that performance, dude, you just locked yourself up as a top 15 draft pick, in my opinion.
Who just had him in the top 5? Some big name just put him in the top 5 of their mock.
Wow.
It was like I can't remember if it was Daniel Jeremiah or somebody else, but it was somebody on that level. He really improved his stock, and kind of rightfully so. I mean, you watch the film and he's a beast, man. Like, he's so good in the run game. He can torque people out. He can climb to the second level like it's nothing. I like that he was yelling through his 40-yard dash, just doesn't care about, how he's perceived or embarrassing himself, just doing what he needs to do to get himself in the right mindset to dominate. And I like that a lot from his performance as well. That aspect was unique.
He doesn't get beat very often. And that's what I love so much about him. It's just he's able to establish himself as a cornerstone left tackle for any NFL franchise. I think he's going to make a lot of teams a lot of money at the end of the day. And I think it's going to benefit him in the long run with just his overall capability and what he brings as an offensive lineman. Let me ask you this, because I know I received a lot of feedback from this. The DB position was a bit interesting because you had guys that, look, I've been talking about some of these guys because I'm around the SEC country a good bit. I've talked about Maxwell Harrison. I've talked about Nicky Manwari, Landon Jackson, Matt Golden, Jahdae Barron, all of these guys who showed out at the combine. not a lot of people had been talking about them prior to so. And I think it was kind of shocking with just the overall talent that you get from these guys. And then when you look at guys that were going into this combine, guys that were surefire top 15 picks like Malachi Starks struggle. I mean, I think preseason-wise, I thought Malachi Starks was a surefire top 10 pick. Underwhelming this season. Yes, I know he was an All-American, but you didn't really see the same, any real improvement. In fact, I think he took a step back in 2024. I think this was a guy that I expected to really take control of this Georgia defense. I just didn't see that at all this year. And I know it sucks to really say that because I had him as arguably the best defensive player in the SEC. It's just so underwhelming this year. And I thought that a lot of his game got exposed in his junior season.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to study these DBs more. I'm not as tapped into college football throughout the season as you are, and I'm going through these position groups, wide receivers, running backs, and the DB class is one I've got to look at a little bit more. With Starks, there's some things to really like about him. I mean, he has so many high-end reps. Even this season, I thought he had reps that were really good, but he also got beat, way more than you'd like to see. Ryan Williams had some famous
look at the
plays
SEC
on
championship
him.
game too.
Yeah. The SEC championship game. Was he playing nickel more than his roaming safety spot more this year? Maybe that could have done something to him.
Coach Schumann mixed him up a good bit at nickel and safety a good bit instead of what he was last year, just because they lost so much and you had a lot of young guys coming in too.
Yeah, they did lose a lot. So I wonder if, looking back at his 2023 tape, it's going to be cleaner. And I wonder if teams will evaluate him more as a pure safety and he could get a boost that way. But I don't know. I got to watch more from him.
I think Miami's set in stone going to pick him at 13. But I will say I've heard from some NFL insiders that are saying otherwise, that they might have changed their position. Because, I mean, I know you haven't looked at the DB position a good bit. God, Maxwell Harrison is a speedster. 4'2", 840, fastest in the combine this year. 39.5-inch vert, 10-foot 9-inch broad jump, all near elite marks. This is a guy that had a lot of questions about his speed, missed some time with a shoulder injury, and then you come in and just blow the competition away. I think you did earn yourself a first-round draft pick. If he's not a first-round draft pick, he's definitely within the top 5, maybe even top 3 of day 2 in the second round. Nicky Manwari just solidified himself.
Yeah.
I think Nicky Manwari just solidified himself maybe as the second or third safety drafted in this year's draft class. Maybe even over Malachi Starks. I think he's a top 15 pick for sure.
He's a beast. He's someone I have watched a decent amount of, and I wonder where they'll play him. I mean, he was an elite athlete, not only for a safety, but you can put him at corner and he's an elite athlete. You can put him at linebacker, he's an elite athlete. And he is an amazing tackler. So maybe like kind of that nickel spot is more for him, moving him down closer to the line of scrimmage where he can kind of make more tackles and he can match up with bigger bodies. He did avoid the shuttles. And as a kind of a bigger body, it kind of inherently hurts your change of direction. And as a last line of defense, free safety, that can be the thing that matters the most. So I do think about his athleticism and wonder, are they going to, with this profile, are they going to move him down a little bit closer to the box where they can use his, awesome ability to tackle and even stack and shed blocks, really, and scrape laterally more than his ability to play center field. And if he makes one wrong move, it's over. So with him, I'll be interested to see what the plan is with him on the NFL level. Mentioned his tackling. Like I watched the Mizzou game and he brought down Luther Burden on first contact 3 times. Every shot he got, he brought him down first contact. And Burden is a really tough guy to get on the ground. So I think he is someone who should go very high in the draft. I just wonder exactly where teams have as a fit for him position-wise.
Eamon Ward kind of reminds me of a taller and stronger version of Trent McDuffie. I mean, he's just got so much in his arsenal. Like you mentioned already, he covers the entire field. And he's exceptional in tackling in the open space, sheds blocks, is able to squeeze down, scrape underneath pullers. He's strong enough to be a defensive end in some instances. I wouldn't be surprised if they line him up more as a blitz and safety because he'd be perfect at it.
Yeah.
I think he's so fast and he's so quick to dip underneath guards that are just trying to shed him off. But he's able to dip right underneath it. You saw it a good bit with South Carolina's defense last year. They blitzed him a good bit, and he was able to get plenty of penetration throughout the season. Want to talk to you a little bit, Theo, about some guys that whose stocks might have fallen in this year's draft. So I talked about, I think probably maybe Abdul Carter might have ended his chances for a number 1 overall pick. He'll still be a number 2 overall pick, but I think the injury bug is going to be a big impact for him. Plus, I think it's at this point, I'm hearing some rumbling about Tennessee potentially trading the number 1 pick, maybe going back to get the number 3 pick. I think Cleveland may come in and sweep in Cam Ward. Let's see who else really fell. I don't really think Will Campbell fell. I know people are complaining because of arm length, but I mean, if you turn on the tape, I mean, the guy is a solid left tackle. Arm length should not be an issue whatsoever in the NFL Combine. The fact that it is, it's laughable to me. But who are some guys that you saw really fall in the Combine this year?
Tez Johnson had a really interesting combine. I mean, 155 with a 4.5 40 will just get him eliminated from a lot of people's boards.
Yes.
Like, he just doesn't have the athletic, tools that a lot of teams are looking for. They have benchmarks that you need to hit. And just at 155 pounds, it doesn't matter what he ran. That might eliminate him from some. It's so light. But he did kind of save the day with his agility testing. I mean, he had the fastest 3-cone, I think, of all the wide receivers by a bit. And he had a good Senior Bowl as well. So I'll be interested to see if he ends up falling at all. Like, he was definitely a combine loser. When that number got announced, I think it may have been the most disappointing run of the entire combine in any drill. But it'll be interesting to see how much that matters for him, because he has production at Oregon and he can get separation and he's shifty. But man, when that number came out, that was shocking.
My only thing about Tez is you're $150 at 5'10".
Yeah.
You were playing was he playing slot at Oregon?
A lot of it,
I figured so. It makes sense because, I mean, you saw breakaway speed, but at the same time, it wasn't the type of speed that you could see really separate themselves from an NFL DB. That's my only issue with him. But I will say, my evaluation of him, he's a return man. He may get reps at slot for an NFL franchise. It won't be many. I think he'll primarily be used on special teams. He's probably a 6th, 7th round pick. Initially, I would have said maybe late 4th, early 5th. But I think after the weekend, it kind of fell. Definitely would not surprise me if he does go undrafted, but I don't think that'll be likely. But I will say I think he still is a draft pick.
Yeah, I think so too. Another guy who lost just kind of by being MIA, it sounds like, is Shedeur Sanders. All the buzz coming out of the combine is that Ward has solidified himself as the first quarterback off the board. Shedeur didn't do any of the drills, but Rappaport came out and said, like, it sounds like Ward is kind of the one, and Shedeur and Dart or whoever else is kind of jostling for that QB2 position. I don't know about all that. I think it is clearly Ward number 1, but I also think, like, there's really nobody that I would probably place over Shedeur for QB2. But it is kind of disappointing for him to, not test when he really does have a lot to prove.
Let me ask you this. Well, I will say this before we go. From many NFL insiders, they're saying it's not even close between Cam Ward and Shedeur.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I looked at both film. Cam Ward is a much more athletic quarterback.
Yeah, much more.
I think he's got more to offer. To me, with Shedeur, look, you obviously know with his father's legacy, there's a big reason for his sustained success. But I'm not saying the kid isn't talented. Trust me. I've seen the kid in person. I've seen the kid throw. Hell of a cannon for an arm. The guy can make big throws at the end of the day. My only issue with him is that are you going to be able to do the same things with a pretty bad offensive line that you had at Colorado? What are you going to have going against much more inferior offensive linemen going up against much better defensive linemen? All likelihood, because initially I thought, all right, he's going to go to the Giants because he talked about that, the East-West Shrine Bowl. He's ready to play the Giants twice a year. Now the Raiders are in hot contention for Shedeur. I thought Shedeur was going to be my number one all the way back in January, but now that we've gone through all the combine, through the Senior Bowl preparations, etc. He didn't participate in the East-West Shrine Bowl. He didn't participate in the combine. I think if you're going to separate yourself as a number one pick, I would say do it. But at the same time, I kind of understand you don't want to throw because you don't know the receivers that you're used to throwing with. But look at what other quarterbacks did. Mm-hmm. And look, he can talk all he wants on social media. And look, we've all seen it. But the problem is that you're not separating yourself from being the best. We've seen you on camera with Cam Ward. We've seen you before. And the difference between the two is incredible. And I think that's what's so amazing about this quarterback battle between Ward and between Shedeur is the maturity and talent-wise as well.
Yeah, I think Ward has rightfully cemented himself as the number one. I don't think NFL teams are wrong to move Shedeur down below him. My problem with Shedeur is just the foot speed first and foremost. I just think he's slow and he holds the ball longer than Cam Ward does on average, and he tries to escape the pocket a lot. Yeah. And he gets sacked. I mean, he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions or have turnover-worthy plays, which looks nice, but that doesn't always mean he's making good decisions. Sometimes it means he's not making a decision. He's holding the ball. He's getting sacked. And yeah, the line is bad, but I don't think he did a whole lot to help the line out. And yeah, I do worry about how that translates to the NFL level. Like, just does he I think he has the arm, but does he have kind of the legs and the processing ability and, you know, the accuracy to all levels of the field? Like, I don't know. So I think that Shedeur, I think it's fair to question his validity as a franchise quarterback and as a first-round pick.
The problem, too, is that the quarterback position has shifted from being a pro style to being more of a dual threat. Shedeur doesn't have that.
No. And you got to make up for it. It's hard to get 5 offensive linemen who are good in front of you. So quarterbacks have to kind of make up for weaker offensive lines in today's era. It feels like guys are so good at scheming up blitzes to get pressure. I mean, you're never really able to finish your throw as an NFL quarterback. You're never able to, be comfortable and scan everything just the way you'd like. And Ward is so comfortable in those environments. He's so balanced. His heartbeat is 0 miles an hour at all times. So I think he's got the play style you're looking for in today's league. It's almost like adding an extra skill position player when you have a quarterback who can make plays like that.
Theo Ash joining us here inside the huddle, 1/3 of the Stay Hot pod, as well as one of the best creators over on TikTok. Theo, let me ask you a question, and this is going to be hot for debate. I think after this combine, I don't know if Ashton Jeanty is a top 15 prospect. And Here's my thing. Dallas is wanting to move in another direction. I know they're needing a running back, but they also need an offensive lineman. They're very intrigued with some of the guys that are on the board. They're intrigued with Armand Membu. They're intrigued with Tyler Booker. They're intrigued with a lot of guys that are in the trenches. My thing is, and I've said this on X, is that it is very likely that we will not see a running back drafted in the first round of the NFL. And I know it may sound crazy with a lot of people really high on Ashton Jeanty and everybody saying, oh, he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy. Listen, the trenches are where it's needed most. you can go get a running back in free agency and really his style of play. Look, Derrick Henry is doing it, but what else can Ashton Jeanty do? He's got to be more involved in the passing game, which I'm sure they will build him up to be such. The guy's 5'8", 211 pounds. Not big, not the tallest as a running back. But again, I'm not sitting here hating on the young man. I think he's probably one of the most talented running backs that has come through the NFL draft since Derrick Henry came through. But I do question the longevity of how long he'll be able to sustain in the league. Because the kid's not going to get 300-plus carries in the NFL. All likelihood, 150 to 200 is what you're going to be expecting out of him. Theo, I can tell you disagree with this. Give me your side of this and tell me why Ashton Jeanty is going to be a first-round running back.
Well, it's a copycat league, and I think investments in running back have paid off in a big way recently. I mean, Bijan getting picked, it was considered to be too early at the time. Like, oh, he's just a running back. They're a dime a dozen. Jahmyr Gibbs, those guys have really helped their teams out, and so has Derrick Henry, him getting signed, and Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. Like this year, I think kind of let everybody know, like, hey, a good running back combined with a mobile quarterback, if you can get those two things, it's really dangerous, and it forces defenses to blitz, and that opens up things for the wide receivers. So it can really help your overall ecosystem when you have a running back that people are worried about. So I think if it was last year, I think that this could be valid, but I think this year, after all the success running back additions have had, I think if Jeanty starts to fall out of the top 10, top 15, some team is going to say, hey, is this the same situation that the Ravens found themselves in, or the Eagles, when everybody else was underrating an elite running back because of their position, and then they were able to completely change their offense in one fell swoop because everybody was so worried about the positional value? I think teams in the back half of the first round would say, absolutely, that's what's happening, and absolutely that's something that we can take advantage of. I mean, Jeanty, he may not be the greatest receiver, but he is a great blocker, so you can still keep him in on third downs, and he just had such an amazing season. With the box loaded, he still was the most efficient running back in the league. He was picking up 5 yards per carry after contact. Just ridiculous stuff coming from an offense in Boise State that's produced guys like Doug Martin and there's a bunch of great guys. I can't think of the other Boise State running backs. I know there's been at least
Ian Johnson.
3. Yeah. So I think that he'll end up going somewhere in the first round. I don't know exactly how high running back value has bounced back after being down for so many years. Like, he's a top 5 overall player in the class, I think, certainly. Will he go top 5? I don't know about all that, but will he even go to the Cowboys if they need other positions? I don't know about that, but I think at some point in the first round, he has to go. I think the opportunity is too good to pass up.
Let me remind the audience, Theo posted this on his YouTube. Goodbye.
Right. How many views does that have? That one. I don't even have
over a quarter, almost a 250,000 actually.
It's a good argument. But I think, I don't know. It was kind of a weird era for running backs in that time. Zeke fell off so fast. Gurley fell off so fast with the injuries. I just wonder if it was if I was too much a prisoner of the moment then, because now it seems like that was completely wrong in my head. But it's probably somewhere in the middle where there's some truth to it, but they don't not matter at all.
I think the running back position, I think you got to take the running back label off him. You got to label him as an athlete at this point because they do so much more. Your pass catchers at the backfield, your run blocking, and you're running the football as well. So you're being utilized in a multitude of ways. I've been calling for this ever since the start of the spring last year. We need to take the running back label off of the running back position and just label them as the athlete at this point. Let me ask you this. Why the hell is Omarion Hampton not getting enough coverage as he has been? Because, I mean everybody focuses on Ashton Jeanty. Let me remind the folks at home, this is a guy in Omarion Hampton that is a 2-time first-team All-American. I understand you're at North Carolina, not the greatest place to get attention. You haven't gotten a whole lot of TV time in prime time to display the talent that Omarion Hampton has. why do you think he hasn't gotten a whole lot of people really watching him up until we saw him at the Combine last week?
I mean, Genti is just such a superstar, and the runs he broke off were so ridiculous that he's kind of a special case. But I agree, like Hampton, for being the consensus RB2 in the class, he's not the biggest name until he just popped onto the scene. It's like, wow, who's this 220-pound guy running a 4.4? He's so big and fast. He's got an NFL body. He's got home run speed. He was hitting 20+ yarders over and over again at North Carolina. And he's got such great footwork in a condensed area. Like when he's running between the tackles, he's jumping over legs and then landing and immediately like kind of cutting off that. So he has got some fancy footwork, speed, size. There's a lot to like about him. My thing, and I think the thing that separates Genti versus him, Genti has more lateral agility. I think Hampton kind of struggles to get his big body moving side to side at the same speed some of the other guys do in this class. So I think he is kind of limited to something more between the tackles. Like he doesn't have that unlimited ability to cut all the way back and bounce it. And I don't think he had a ton of big runs where he kind of jumped outside of the blocking wide receiver and hit up the sideline. He had a lot of big runs on these kind of shovel passes and plays that hit right downhill. I do think his sideline to sideline ability and his lateral cutting ability is what holds him back from being a really, really elite running back prospect in my book, personally.
Last question for you, Theo, before we let you go, brother. Who's an underrated draft diamond that we need to be paying attention to in this year's draft?
I like Damian Martinez a lot out of the University of Miami. He got off to a bit of a slow start, but by the end of the year, he was absolutely balling, and he seems like he's got the whole package at the running back position or athlete position. He's somebody who is a big body. He picked up the second most yards after contact per attempt in college football after Genti. But he's also got great vision. He's patient behind the line of scrimmage. He sets blocks up, and he has got the cutting ability that I'm talking about that I think Hampton lacks. He's not as big, and he's definitely not as fast as Hampton is. That's his big weakness, his long speed. But he's got this unbelievable ability at his size to make sudden cuts. He can run a safety over or juke them out of their shoes. He reminds me a little bit of like a diet Bijan Robinson. He doesn't have that kind of long speed, but his footwork is so good, and he's got the same size that Bijan did and the same kind of patience and vision. He's not the blocker. He's not this long speed guy, but there are some similarities there in terms of body type and ability to cut.
Theo Ash, NFL insider and
insiders.
You're at, son, you got over 200,000 followers on TikTok, maybe even more the last time I checked. You're an insider at this point. You're getting close to damn rap sheet at this point.
No one gives me any scoops. I don't have any. I don't know who's getting picked.
Hey, you got X's and O's, but hey, that takes a lot of time and effort. And hey,
yeah, that's true.
But nah, bro, you're one of the best in the game. We appreciate you hopping on here, brother. You have a great rest of the night, and let's have a great start to the month of March.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was super fun.
Theo Ash hopping on with us here inside the huddle. We appreciate his time. Always a pleasure to talk with him. All right. I agree with a lot of what he's had to say, by the way. Huge Damian Martinez fan. I really do like a lot of what he brings to the table. And Damian Martinez is a guy that didn't get a lot of looks this year. And I'll tell you what, coming from Oregon State, where he's a two-time first-team All-Pac-12, and the guy averages 5.7 yards a carry, the guy has an opportunity to be much better as a receiver. I think he can get out of the backfield and make plays on a consistent basis. And I really love with what he brings. Guys, he's going to be a guy that nobody really is paying attention to at the end of the day. And that is what is so good about his game and what he is bringing to the table. And I really am really excited for this year's draft. Guys, that is going to end it up for us today inside the huddle. Thank you all for hopping on in. Appreciate all of you for taking the time to join in. We had about 70 plus. Not a bad little number today. 73 of you hopping inside the huddle. Want to thank every single one of you for hopping on in. Let me actually link Scout because we're going to talk some more. It's been a while since Scout has joined in. And I figured, hey, why not get him in? Because he just texted me, by the way. So let me get him in. By the way, Instagram, got to end it right there. Y'all have a great rest of the night. Let's get him in this thing. In fact, let's call up Scout. Let's call up Scout, bro. I was about to end the stream, and he decided to hop back on.
Hello.
Hey, I just sent you the link.
I'm on the way in. I'm on the way in.
Oh, speaking of devil, here he is. Yeah.
Hold up.
Where have you been all this damn time?
What?
Where have you been?
I was playing 2K, bro.
No. I'm talking about the last month. I haven't seen you in like over a month and a half.
I've been a kid. I've been a school kid.
Yeah, same here.
Degrees, kids.
Same here.
Yeah.
But no, we had Theo on. I know that did you hear what I told him?
Yes. You read it wrong though, but you know,
I don't care. I read it text for text.
No, but like the phrasing of the text, like okay, I guess I need to add commas the next time.
Oh my god, whatever.
Well, because I meant like exciting whites, like the meme.
What does that mean?
And like Tucker Craft.
Okay.
Anyways, also shout out the new sponsor.
Vocalbreaks.com, by the way.
Shout out Vocal Breaks.
It's okay. Hey, I already did the voiceover and anything for it, so we've already got all that. Scout, let me ask you a question. Let's just be honest. Is a running back going to get drafted in the first round?
Three will.
3?
3.
My God, son, who other than Travion or other than Ashton Jeanty and Omarion Hampton?
Genty, Hampton, Scat out of nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I think they see him more as a fullback than as a running back.
Well, no kidding. Have you seen the kid run?
Yeah, he's closer to Tyler Warren than he is to any of the other running backs. But
can you share your stream?
Huh?
Can you share the stream?
What stream?
Like in here, like is there a link at the top for you to say like share stream with your audience or something like that?
No.
What the hell? Usually there is.
I clicked it earlier. You got like 67 views.
Oh, no kidding.
Shut up.
I mean, you reposted it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I figured so. But no, man, what you got?
I've been good. I listened to the Jake Crane bit. That was pretty good.
Yeah, Jake was.
Also, he did that from the studio, bro. Also, why am I so white, bro? I am not this white. I swear.
Bro, I texted Tessa, who's the main PR girl over at Daily Wire, and they linked the two producers to the studio. And I was like, what the heck are we doing here? And he was like, all right, just send us the StreamYard. Like, I was like, all right, cool. All right, I guess we're doing it from the studio because they had just gotten finished recording the What are you doing?
I'm making myself less. There we go.
I mean, you still look white.
Wait, there we go. Here we are. There we go.
But no, they just decided to do from the studio because they did their locker room talk before he came on.
No.
But no.
And then the whole time he was just like staring at the camera like this, like
me?
No, him.
Or him. Scout. It's the month of March. You know what that means. You know what that means.
March Madness. Baseball season's
UFL,
here.
both, and UFL tour starts in 24 days.
Are you going to DC?
No,
Oh,
dude, I ain't got the money to go to DC. Now, if I can get some other people from, let's say, United Football Media, or maybe
No, they ain't got
James
money.
Larson.
No,
Hey,
they ain't
James
got money.
Larson, can you hook me up?
Most of
PFN ain't got
the people that go places, they get it out of their own pocket or out of like a family connection. Most of the people, I should say.
Hey, ESPN, y'all need a new UFL insider. Go hire James
They don't
Larson.
have a single UFL insider.
James Larson. Oh wait, James just does or just all alternate football, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I figured so.
I don't think James would like to get locked down by any league. I think the ELF reached out at some point. He was talking about it. But why did they just released another roster update for college football? It's crazy.
For what?
I have no idea.
Or no, not.
Oh, and I will say, what?
Is it Marsden or Larson that's got a bigger following?
Probably Marsden. Marsden's the one from like, what do you call it? Like Star Trek or whatever.
There's also UFL analysts or XFL analysts or something like that.
Sort of, yeah, but not that big. I think James is still bigger than him. Oh, they added some of the uniforms. Okay. Wait. They finally have the Birmingham jersey and the gray jersey for the UAB Blazers. Maybe this was an old one. Do not quote me on this chat.
Hey yo.
There definitely was a title update to this, so I'm just looking at all the different. But yeah, oh, and the shout out, you heard it here first on the nightcap. Also, I'm gonna make you a new one of these. Don't worry, big dog. We need.
What are you gonna make me?
It's springtime. We need brighter colors. We need some UFL players down there. The red and black is just too dominant. You know what I'm saying? Like too dominating. You need
that is true.
A yellow. You know. So think about
like a Brahma. We'll just become the Brahmas then, dude.
No, no, you'd have more than one primary color. But I'm saying like yellow and like purple and like, I'd have to find a third color. Yellow, purple, and green. That's like Mardi Gras colors. Let's go. I'm so smart, chat. Also, I've been getting the gains for real. This guy's also been getting the gains. This guy right here, for sure.
Mike Mitchell, that's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, Mike might have it. Mike might just have a bigger following for sure.
Yeah, Mike's got almost a 10,000. Where is Mike at?
He was with Sports Illustrated. I don't know him personally, so I'm talking strictly from, the things I've heard around the wire. But I think all the guys that were related with SI, whenever SI went under, kind of got the rough end of the deal.
Alt Football Digest is what I've heard. Yeah, they literally just got released earlier this year, like after the Super Bowl.
Alt Football Digest, they're fine people. I don't have an issue with any of them, but all their content is under a paywall, and I think that is the stupid part.
Hey, Reed's there.
That
by the way,
might be
shout out my boy.
The crew that's currently Alt Football Digest has always been together. Like that's
Hey.
just the Markcast as a newspaper.
Shout out Reed Johnson of the Markcast. That's my guy. I had him on last year. I've been trying to get him on at some point before the start of this season. So we'll see what we can get there. Are we getting to the point where we're kind of UFL insiders?
I mean, me for real, for sure.
Well, no kidding, dude. I can see why you for real. I'm just getting started.
Yeah, we'll get you there. Don't worry.
I've gotten A-Train said I was certified.
Who?
Arlington Lane. Fuel Sports Network. Yeah, A-Train.
Yeah. That took me a second to remember. There's so many different people. Like, yes, I would consider that you are valid.
Like, UFL wise, we're just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Like, we're not employed really by anybody except for the two Jameses.
Yeah. Well, even them, they're more employed, you know.
Because Reed has because Markcast does CFL and UFL, and he does his own thing with his photography company.
Yeah, that's where his base is that photography company for sure. But I think the biggest thing with anybody is that it's not like covering that. You'd be better off like covering high school sports than covering that. You know what I'm saying? Like
the UFL.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like if you want to, if you're trying to make it a business or something along those
Well,
lines,
yeah. Yeah, I get it. Let me ask you this. Let's talk some Birmingham Stallions. I've done our preview for the Roughnecks. I've done our preview for the Battlehawks. Let's do some Stallions talk. The defense last year was dominant. All right, let's just be honest. I think in my own opinion, that was the consistent strength of the team last year. Just to knowing that you had to rotate quarterbacks because you couldn't really get consistency from Corral, and then you went to Adrian Martinez, who dominated the entire rest of the season. Yeah. So let me ask you a question.
Magoo back for sure.
Getting Alex Magoo back is a huge, huge get back for Birmingham. Do you think that Skip's going to use him a lot as more of a Taysom Hill type, or are they going to expand the playbook more for him?
I mean, not for real, but
dude, with the skill set that he has, why not?
I just don't think that they will, but because I think he's older now. I don't think this is the same guy that you got, however many years, like 2 years ago. I think he'll definitely be a little bit more veteran, a little bit more mature with all that. So you never know, but I think the playbook doesn't get opened up any more than it does with a Matt Corral. So,
what's the strength of the team right now? Because this receiving core is freaking unbelievable. It's deep.
I don't think it's receivers. I think it's offensive line still. I think that's what it was last year. I think that's what it is this year too. So,
just trying to think. Do you think Deion Kane is going to be the best receiver in the UFL, or do you think a guy like Hakeem Butler is going to overtake that? Because, dude, Butler's a dog. Or is Hakeem even still in the UFL?
Hakeem, yeah, they all are.
I figured so. Where you see Hakeem at?
He'll also be in St. Louis for sure. He's already said it. Also, I found out one thing that they added to the college football update is the Michigan quarterback is correct. It's that whatever kid. Davis Warren or whatever.
Davis Warren. He's going to the UFL?
No, I'm saying they fixed it on college football.
Oh.
It's no longer Alex Orji as the best quarterback for Michigan, or at least the starting quarterback for Michigan.
You might as well keep the same game and just do roster updates. In my opinion.
No shot. I just tried to get an absolute nutty corner route.
Pause.
Pause. Oh no. Devontae didn't need to have a foot down. This man got a foot down for sure.
Oh God. I'm going to get a drink, bro.
This man getting a drink.
Hey, man,
Every
what
time.
did I put on here? Oh, nothing. This has been a great stream.
No shot, bro. Ugh.
I forgot I got school tomorrow.
Punt inside the 10. Look at that, man. Look at that, man. What's that man going to come out in? Oh, gun spread? Oh, he messed up. He messed up going gun spread on me. Although I think I did the wrong thing here. Oh no, he made him go tight. Everything.
Dude, here I was about to end the stream, and then you said link me up.
Okay, this is my one issue with College Football 25. Donovan Edwards, just because he's just because he's the damn cover athlete, he's nowhere near this elite player that just like juked 5 of my team.
He's
Just
dog
crushed.
crap.
He'll be fine.
Here I was.
but it's-
Here I was thinking preseason he was going to be a top 5 running back this year, and he pissed the bed.
Oh,
I
it
don't-
makes me so
I
mad.
think he got the the cover athlete spot because of the slot he fills rather than who he is.
He got it because of his performances in the semi and the natty.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, I think there were still players that were more, more deserving and whatever.
Who do you think is going to be on the cover next year? They Arch.
Yeah. Quitting out of this game. Man, get off TikTok. What are we doing? I thought something was going on with my phone. Get off TikTok immediately. What is this man doing?
Why? I'm on Instagram.
We're on stream.
I know we're on stream. What are you doing?
We've been talking.
You playing a game? You playing a game?
Not anymore. No, rage quit.
All right, bro. Where did you get the opening night stuff? Because I don't remember you having that last time you were on.
Oh, I put up a bunch of random stuff. My Swiss cheese credential right there too. Is it the same thing?
Pretty much. I've got a credential. I got credentials right here from state championships and from the Ventures Bowl, where I watched history. Got my high school jersey. Dude, I did watch history. Most receiving yards by a tight end. And I met Harold Fannin that day.
How many times will Lucas mention as a former defensive end? Lucas, how tall are you?
6'2".
Oh, okay.
How tall are you?
I'm like 6'1".
A bullshit. Are you for real?
Yes, for real.
All right, fine. I'll see you in Birmingham, and we'll compare height.
We'll compare. We'll do a sword fight too, for the fellas.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Also, if y'all hear any thunder around me, it's because shit. We've been in a damn tornado watch like the whole night.
Really? It's been windy for us in Louisiana. Don't you live like an hour and a half away from Birmingham?
Like an hour.
Oh. Gotcha.
Ain't too bad.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh shit.
Shoot.
And then but we're going to oh my lord. Also Josh Heupel versus John Summerall on the CFB page. Literally, it is the most voted on vote that this man has. He's been doing this coach vote, whatever coaching poll,
Yeah.
and well, actually no, there is the Kurt Signetti one has more, but that could be people buying shit too. You never know.
Huh.
Oh,
Interesting. Apparently, our high school basketball team, which has never been good,
yeah.
is now going to the state semifinal or is going to the state quarterfinals.
And what?
Like, what the? Basketball? Just like all of a sudden, we just, our school just decided to be good. Like, what? How? All right, so they played. Oh, they played today. Oh, Lordy. When did they play? Saturday? Friday? Whoo! I'm glad I ain't working on Friday because we were about to get screwed.
Where are you gonna go now?
Huh?
Where are you gonna go?
No. Oh my God, no. I don't watch basketball.
Oh, also the what do you call it? MLB The Show releases fairly soon.
Who's on the cover?
It's a 3 cover. It's whatever, Louis Dunn's girlfriend or Louis Dunn's boyfriend.
Paul Skeens.
Ellie De La Cruz. I forgot who the other one is. Gunnar Henderson.
Who the hell is Gunnar Henderson?
Hey, that is
Oh,
Montgomery
isn't that
legend.
isn't that the guy that was like the #1 overall pick a couple years ago? Isn't he a catcher or
Yes.
something like that?
No, he's a
Or a
third baseman.
shortstop?
You're thinking of the catcher is you're thinking the other Oriole. I'm forgetting his name.
He's around your area.
Yeah. Well, no, Gunnar Henderson's the one that's from Selma. But
That's
he
what I
read
said.
like
He's
he
around
says
your area.
Yeah, he says Montgomery, but he's technically from Selma.
So was he a #1 overall pick, or does he just come from high school?
I think he was a first rounder. The catcher, you'll have to look up the Orioles catcher. He's the 1 OA.
Okay. It's not O'Neal. I'm trying to think. Oh shoot. Adley Rutschman.
Yeah.
That's who the
He was
#1
on
overall pick is. That dude was an absolute beast in college. I remember. Huh?
You can go. Very few non-catchers or pitchers go 1 OA.
Adley was a once-in-a-generation type of talent at catcher. I remember watching him at Oregon State. Dude, that dude was a freaking beast.
I saw
at the plate.
The Hawaii game last night had some good talent.
For baseball? Or from Oregon State?
No, the Hawaii game last night for baseball.
I got you. I was thinking about going to an LSU baseball game tomorrow, and I was like, never mind. Because it's probably going to get rained out. So.
Do you get
but I went to
out there?
Yes.
Shout out.
I went to Southeastern and ULL last week.
Oh, have you seen my Instagram pictures?
Of high school baseball?
Yeah, well, no, look at my Instagram. I posted Kennesaw State the other day. I need to post Sanford, but I need to get some more pictures edited.
Where did you go to Georgia?
It was a Sanford Kennesaw game. But then shit.
So you went to
I went to Sanford. I took pictures of both games.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I see it.
Barry B in Georgia. But yeah.
I'm not playing it anymore so we don't get copyright
Copyright strike.
on a freaking live stream, though.
I don't think they care that much.
Like we care.
Like we don't give a damn.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Scout. I'll be straight up with you. I had never heard of Theo before today. I'm
How?
dead serious. I'm not on TikTok anymore.
He's definitely transcended the platform, though.
I
It's
guess.
definitely more than just TikTok.
Or dude, I've just never heard of him before. I'm sorry, but
I'm disappointed in you. But yeah. But no, but you can shut her down. But I was just coming on and talking for a minute while while I had a second. Fuck. But yeah.
I got a question.
What?
Will I get banned if I say the F word? The FAG word?
Yes.
By who?
You at least get canceled. God. What?
But what if I'm like what South Park says? What if I'm referring to an aggravating person on a Harley?
What?
You know what I mean. You ain't never seen the South. You ain't never seen South Park.
Yes, I've seen South Park, and yes, I know what you're talking about. But why is that a?
Why not? Oh! You ever watch Arena League?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. AF1. We were informed today that the Orlando Predators intend to break their commitments to their fans, players, and coaches. Predators owner John Chaney informed us he decided to no longer compete this season in the AF1. Given this abrupt notice, their membership in Arena Football 1 has been terminated effective immediately. Well, no kidding, because the Arena League has screwed the piss out of their players and their coaches and their staff. So, and all of the owners are in on it. I've talked to a guy that played Arena League, and they do this. This is all over Arena League. No wonder they've been broke for the last 5-10 years, maybe even longer.
Crazy.
I mean, that's Scout. This has been going on for a long time, and we act like, oh, this is just something crazy. Oh, this is the team that's breaking its commitment. No, it's not. It's your ownership that is screwing the piss out of everybody, and all the owners are in on it.
AF1 is an interesting one. I'm glad that Columbus just jumped to the IFL.
AF1 is a joke. Arena League in a total right now is a joke.
But sir, I'm being called to a space, but I gotta take a piss first. But
we're
it's been a
ending it
pleasure.
here. Thank you guys
Hey.
for jumping inside the huddle.
And for those of you that are, cross fans of Inside the Huddle and the SCS Happy Hour, more to come with the SCS Happy